All right, party people, we are back in Bandlab. Today we're going to be exploring delay and reverb. Delay and reverb are two effects that are key to creating a sense of space in any piece of music. The other thing you need to know about delay and reverb is that they have everything to do with what happens immediately after a sound. And for this reason, I'm going to be keeping these notes super short with lots of space in between. Let's go ahead and loop those notes so that while we're playing with our effects, we can hear it over and over again. And let's go back to our instrument view. So first, let's find our effects. Just like in every other instrument, we have these buttons down here in the middle. One of them is effects. I click on that and I'm taken to my presets. But just for the sake of learning, I'm going to create my own custom preset just like before. I'll hit that plus sign. And here we are. I'll hit the plus sign again to choose exactly which effects I want to use. And we find delay by scrolling on the top bar and hitting delay. I'll click filter echo because it's the easiest delay to help us understand exactly what a delay does. Before we go any further, let's define delay. When we talk about music, it takes on a very specific meaning. Delay in music refers to an effect that records a signal and plays back delayed duplicates of the same signal. For example, one of these piano notes will go into the delay effect. The delay effect will record it and play it back to us at a later time. And it actually sounds quite a bit like an echo. You could think of it as a simulated and timed echo. Let's just hear the effects of our delay on our piano. You can hear that the first note of the piano plays and then there's these little echoes that come on back to us. Those are the recorded duplicates being sent back to our headphones. So let's talk about these controls. First, let's look at delay. This is the exact measurement of how much time we'll have between the original sound and the first recorded duplicate. It's also the same amount of time between the first recorded duplicate and the second duplicate, and so on and so forth. Basically, this is the amount of time between each echo. Right now, it's set at 200 milliseconds, which is pretty short, and that's why you hear this fast echo. Or should I say, fast delay. Let's go ahead and make this a little bit longer, and you're going to see that there's more time between the first sound and the first duplicate. So when our delay is short, we hear the echo right away. We hear those duplicates right away. When we have it somewhere here in the middle, it's more and more spaced out. And if we take it to its maximum, well, let's hear what it sounds like. Now it actually sounds like a whole nother set of notes being played. Now let's take a look at mix. Mix usually refers to the volume level of this effect relative to the original sound. So if I turn this down all the way, we'll just hear the original sound and none of the delay effect. And if I turn it up all the way, we'll hear it much louder. Let me go ahead and change my delay to make it more interesting. Now let's move on to our next knob. Feedback is how many times the delay repeats. In some effects, you're going to get an exact number. Maybe the delay duplicates 4 times. But in this one, all we have is a percentage. So I'm going to increase this percentage, and as it gets higher, you're going to notice that we're going to hear more and more of those duplicates. Notice that even though I've paused, the duplicates continue duplicating. It just gets quieter over time and eventually fades out. Now, cutoff refers to frequencies, and we learned about frequencies last time. So you can see right here, it says cutoff 12,000 hertz. That means our delay duplicates will only sound at 12,000 hertz and below. This goes all the way up to 16,000. So let's hear what this sounds like with the max amount of frequencies available. You can hear that the duplicates sound pretty similar to the initial sound. But if we take our cutoff and we cut out all those higher frequencies and just keep the ones, let's say, around 600 hertz and below, it's going to sound darker and deeper. We're controlling which frequencies can pass through the effect. Now let's find our next effect, reverb. I'll click remove to turn off the delay, hit the plus sign, and scroll in the top bar all the way to reverb. And we're going to specifically focus on the studio reverb today. Now, once again, before we even talk about reverb, which is pretty complicated and is going to get crazy, I just want you to hear it and experience it for yourself. So I'll turn up the mix all the way and let it play. So reverb is short for reverberation. Reverberation is defined as the continuation of a sound after its source has stopped, caused by multiple reflections of the sound within a space. Oh my gosh! We're going to have to break this one down into sections. So first we have the continuation of a sound after its source has stopped. As you just heard, after the piano played its note, there was some sound lingering for a long time. Let's hear that again. Even when I hit pause, the sound continues to linger. Now, what creates this reverberation? It's created by multiple reflections of the sound within a space. So let's see a real life example. Imagine yourself singing in a square room with hard, flat walls. The sound waves move out of your mouth in almost every direction in front of you. Each sound wave bounces off the first surface it hits. That's the very, very first reflection, but they do not stop there. They continue to bounce off of each surface in the room until they lose their energy and die out, or until they're absorbed by something in the room. The combined effect of sound waves reflecting off of surfaces is reverberation or reverb. And by the way, this reverberation sounds awesome because instead of just the initial sound waves you put out, you get to harvest the energy of all these reflections. This is why you sound great when you sing in the shower. There's lots of flat, hard walls close to us that generate reflections. And now let's see the opposite. Think about singing in a big classroom full of your fellow students. The bigger space means it'll take longer for the sound to get back to you. But there's another problem. The sound waves will be absorbed by people's clothing and by people themselves. Organic matter and fabric absorb sound. So you're not going to get the same lush, full reverb that you would when you're singing in the bathroom shower. Your voice might sound great going out of your mouth, but by the time it gets back to your ears, it sounds pretty weak. Now let's go back to Bandlab and talk about our reverb effect. A reverb effect is a simulation of all these reflections. That's right, we're living in a simulation. So let's look at the knobs on our studio reverb effect. We've already talked about mix. It's just the amount of reverb we're applying to our sound. But what is this about color? Color is just a fancy way of describing a cutoff. With delay, we had a cutoff, which basically limited the frequencies that we're going to pass through the effect. So if our color is all the way up, we're going to get all those high frequencies. If our color is all the way down, we're going to just get the low frequencies. Notice that the sound of the initial piano in this case is the same, but the reverb is completely different. And then we have size. Size represents the size of this virtual room that we're creating sound in. So we could have a really small room with very, very fast reverb, these reflections bouncing around really quickly and getting back to our ears. Or we could have a gigantic room where the sound waves have a long time to travel, a long time to come back, and a long time to add to the rich, lush sound. And remember, unlike the classroom, this room is empty. So our sound waves are free to bounce around as long as they can until they die. So now that we know how reverb and delay work, let's go ahead and try putting these things together to affect the sound of a piano in a new and interesting way. I'm going to record a new piano part from scratch, and then I'm going to apply reverb and delay to that. Let's go ahead and open up our piano, effects, And I'm going to create a custom preset again. I'll hit the plus sign, go to delay, filter echo. Let's do this. It's a little sloppy, but it's just my style. I'll hit the plus sign and let's go to our reverb now. Alright, that got scary very quickly. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. As you can see, reverb and delay are super powerful tools in shaping the sound waves that you create. In a future video, we're going to talk about using reverb and delay in the context of a song or a beat. Reverb and delay can be used to create monstrous spaces like we did just now, or it can be used to create a holistic sense of space in a beat. It can even be used to differentiate between different instruments in a beat, giving them different amounts of reverb and different amounts of delay to create more contrast between the sounds in your mix. All right, everyone, great job today. Make sure not to play with reverb and delay too late at night. But otherwise, keep experimenting, keep creating, and I'll see you in the next video.